You know who had the best career though? This is gonna blow your dicks off, guys. The guy who played the cop.
What?
His name is Giuseppe Andrews.
Yeah.
Which his real name's Giuseppe. It's like, come on, dude. That guy fucks, dude.
That's so fucking Italian. That's not even like New York Italian. That's like, my name is Giuseppe. Like, do you want some snow cones?
Yeah, and he had to say to his family, I don't want to inherit the pizza shop.
Yeah.
I want to be an actor.
Yeah. I don't want to sell Italian ice on the corner with you guys.
Dude, he's in so many movies. He's in, this is just some of the ones I wrote down because they're the biggest ones. But he's in...
But Giuseppe is a part of the family tradition. Okay.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Man getting bit by an alligator in the street.
Swallow this.
Welcome back to episode 5 of Reasonably Afraid with myself, Sean Dolan, and Ray Reyes.
Yo, what up?
And our producer with us today. It's Turner, everybody. Turner the dog.
Turner.
Still recovering, but pretty much better now after his fight with coyotes.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude,
his patch is growing in. You know, there was a bump right there, and the bump is gone. There was a bump there, dude.
Yeah.
Sean swear there wasn't, but there was a bump.
I never said that. I just said it was.
smaller.
No, it's really funny. I have a friend. Remember I made that whole joke about what if people listen not knowing that Turner's a dog? And I have a friend of mine that like texts me this whole thing. They're like, what is wrong with your producer? They're fighting coyotes. And then like later on, they listened to the next episode and they went, or the first episode, and they like went backwards, and they were like, "Oh my god, I didn't realize
it's a dog."
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're watching the video, like it makes sense. If you're just listening to the thing,
yeah.
we just have to describe things more.
Yeah. No, I wanted it to be that way. I thought it was hilarious.
Oh yeah, that is pretty funny.
Earlier when you said my name, I just waved.
Yeah, you did. You didn't say anything.
The funniest part about that is Sean handles all the audio only stuff. He posts all the like Spotify and Apple Podcasts and everything.
I feel such a disconnect to it when we're actually filming, though.
Yeah, but I'm the one who does like the audio side of things.
Oh yeah, all I do is post it. I'll be honest.
Real quick though, the friend of mine that realized all that about Turner is my friend Paige. Shout out to her because she was like, why aren't you guys on YouTube podcasts? And I was like, what are you talking about? We put the podcast on YouTube. She's like, no, there's a thing called YouTube podcasts where they like make it to where you can like watch or listen like what Spotify does.
Oh, that's cool.
And
I didn't know that.
I set it all up now. So every time we upload a full episode on YouTube, you can listen on YouTube podcasts now or watch.
Sick.
So, yeah.
Look at that. Look at that.
Is this Paige living in Italy page? Oh, okay.
No, but she's great too. Shout out to both the pages.
Shout out to both pages.
But anyway, so today,
different pages, same book.
All right, let's go. Sean Dolan, dog.
So a lot of our friends listen, and we try to take the notes for that's a great thing about when friends or like people who enjoy the podcast, they give us little notes about things that they like and things that they think could be better. And we're figuring it out at the same time. And one of the things was the format for the beginning, because we're kind of starting to break out of just our friends, and we're starting to pick up, more casual listeners. And one of the things that we're going to do is start introing the movies and letting you know what they are instead of just jumping right in and
talking about them
and tearing them apart or whatever.
Yeah,
we're going to actually talk about the movies. So this episode is full of spoilers because we're talking about these movies. So if you haven't seen them yet, go watch them.
Good.
I think the next episode 6, will be the beginning of the Patreon where you can actually watch the movies with us, and we'll give you the time signatures and everything. So you can, on the Patreon, you'll be able to watch through the movies at the same time that we do, and then you can listen to the episode.
And that's going to be very fun because a lot of those I will be drinking.
Yes, everyone will be very drunk.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
He's just like, just a disclaimer.
Just a disclaimer.
Except for Turner, he doesn't usually,
Yeah.
partake.
Turner don't get turned.
Now Ray, when he drinks a beer while watching the movie, like, well, it's like I made a promise. I told him I would. I can't go back on my word.
If I become an alcoholic, it's your fault. That's a joke. I'm
You
already an
expect
alcoholic.
too much.
You expect too much.
They expect too much from me.
It's too much pressure to be famous. I have to be drunk all the time.
That's so real. So today's actual theme is going to be that's not camping, and that comes from my dad. Anytime anybody was ever going, they'd say we're going camping, and they'd be in like an RV or a cabin. My dad would always go, "It's not camping," because he would drag us to the woods and make us sleep in tents for fun. So, so Florida boys,
Yeah. My dad would be like, that's not camping. It's just crossing the border,
Wait, question. Did he instill those values into you, Zach?
Yeah.
How do you feel about cabins?
Yeah, cabins I think are fun, and I'm a little mad at my dad for making me think that they sucked while I was a kid. I'm grown up now, and I'm like, I don't want to sleep in a tent unless like.
Now I'm kind of upset that you didn't come on the cabin trip with us. You should have. It would have been fun. The thing game that we played was very fun.
Yeah, it's always fun to be a ninth wheel. Anyway, it's how it would have felt. Okay.
Well, I wasn't there with my ex at the time, or
Oh, yeah.
girlfriend at the time.
I was single.
Yeah, you were, bud. Yeah, you were.
It would have felt like an old guy
Guys,
with a
can
bunch
we
of...
focus on the episode?
Let's focus on the episode. This is exactly what we talked
Yeah,
about,
let's focus
okay?
on the episode.
Anyway, today the theme is That's Not Camping, and we're talking about two cabin movies. We're talking about Cabin Fever from 2003, Eli Roth's first film, his seminal film, you might say. Go ahead and ask the question, Sean.
I just want an answer. What does seminal mean?
You're going to have to Google it.
I asked him this earlier, and he knew
Google
what it meant.
I think it literally might derive from like seminal, like semen, like the beginning of life.
Oh,
that's not true.
Oh,
and the other film, of course, Cabin in the Woods, another film 10 years later, and
One of my
also directorial debut
Mm-hmm.
of Drew Gordon is his name. And,
the former basketball player.
Nope.
No,
Maybe,
I think you're right.
actually.
I think he was a basketball player.
He might be. I don't know.
There was a Drew Gordon in the NBA.
They only put like most of the like film stuff in there. So who knows? IMDb might have left out his basketball career.
Well, I wonder if they've met. If they're different people.
If they're different people, if they met. If they're
yeah.
not different people, what a guy.
What a man. What a career.
What a career.
Well, both of these movies are about 90 minutes long, which is great. It's perfect for a horror movie.
90 minutes, yeah.
Yeah. It kind of nails it. They both are, horror movies that have comedy elements, but they're not driven by the comedy. Which
do you feel like it's a horror movie? Like horror movies have more of a tendency to be an hour and a half, because it is like, I feel like comedy standards, like 90 minutes is like perfect. Like most shows are 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Most comedy movies are 90 minutes.
Yeah, I think it shouldn't be cookie cutter across the board, but I do feel like unless you're doing something that's pretty, I don't know, what would the word be, like outstanding? Like if there's something like you're doing something where it's like recreating a feeling of a genre or something,
Right.
Like Hereditary. Hereditary could be 90 minutes, it could be 2 hours, and either way you're like, I'm on board because it had such a different vibe, a different
I feel
feel.
that. Yeah. For
Or
sure.
how long is it?
Hereditary, Shot in the Dark,
90 minutes.
122 minutes. I don't
Maybe.
actually know. But
We'll never
might
know.
be less. But anyway, I think if you're doing something that feels different, you can explore those extra minutes because people go for the ride. And I feel like everything you do after 90 minutes starts to feel like this better be worth it, not just because you shot too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And studios usually try to keep it down to that time. And it doesn't need to be across the board, but like there's a lot of people get too close to their projects and they want to put in a bunch of extra stuff. Like Ari Aster for Midsommar, I think he put in there's like another hour of footage or something they had to cut out.
Yeah.
So like, and they're
I really
well
want to
aware.
see it. I really want to see it.
it's coming up because August 5th is our episode for literally the middle of summer, and we're doing that along with another movie. So your boy be planning shit.
I love Midsommar. That's one. That's another favorite of mine.
Speaking of extra footage that you might need to cut out, what were the thing we were supposed to start the episode with that we keep avoiding?
Yeah, no, we're getting there.
Oh, okay.
This is just the introduction.
Oh,
Yeah, we're doing good. Yeah.
Are we?
Yeah, so one of the things that we're going to be doing
I have high standards.
Jesus Christ. One of the things that we're going to be doing to kick off the episode is some of you guys may not have seen these movies, so spoiler alert, we're going to say the entire movie. We're going to talk about all the things that happened in it.
I think we should just put a big spoiler alert in the description of our podcast.
I feel like if you watch a movie podcast,
you
should assume there's going to be spoilers.
Yeah,
However,
not all the time though.
Yeah.
But we don't do new movies, and I think that's if we're not going to give spoiler alerts like that, we should definitely steer away from doing like movies in theaters.
we should have been, you know, what we should have done is like gone overboard on Psycho.
Yeah,
Like acted like people really wouldn't know. Oh shit, Sean didn't know though.
I didn't know.
It was amazing. It was so funny. Oh yeah, that reminds me.
well, I kind of because I hadn't watched the original.
Yeah.
The thing about Psycho though, it's like it's such a classic. It's like that trope and like that that twist has been like parodied in like so many things that like when I did watch it, I was like, oh yeah, I know.
Right.
He's the mom.
Well, spoiler alert.
Wait.
So this is something we
Sean still doesn't know.
A lot's happened in 2 weeks.
so I do gotta say this though. I put out a Just the Facts. Just the Facts is a segment where we just cut out if there's any like true story stuff behind any of the horror movies we talk about. I like to put out a little segment that's just like a quick run through of like the stuff that you might go and Google. You don't have to do that. You can just listen to me say so the 5 minutes of the episode that I cut into like one video, and then you can just kind of learn something real quick.
Oh, so because you only give just the facts.
Yeah.
Well,
that's why you named it that.
Well, as it turns out, I do all the research for the show about the movies, and so anything that's beyond the actual films is just extra that I have time to do. And as it turns out, I read like a wiki thing on Ed Gein, the guy who Psycho's based on, and as it turns out, some of the stuff is not accurate because these people can just write whatever they want.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, well, that's Wikipedia. You should have known that.
Yeah, I know, but like usually people, I know that. Would you fucking focus? I know.
He's like, where the fuck my teacher say these references don't count? She's talking shit about Wikipedia.
I know this shit.
That's the encyclopedia of the internet.
But what I'm saying is, a serial killer that was arrested like 70-something years ago, you're like, well, who would even bother to put something like innocuous that's not correct? You know what I mean?
Other serial killers.
Yeah.
That's a great point, yeah. Throw them off.
They're like, this guy was a pussy, dude.
So, much like every other...
Just really competitive serial killers? That dude, like, fucking Ed Gein was not the GOAT.
So much
it says
like,
here he's not the GOAT. Oh. Hey, you're the one that changed the subject anyway.
I'm trying to fucking make a correction before we move on, okay?
Okay.
I said in the episode that he kept his mother's corpse. That's not true. What he had actually kept intact was, like, the space that his mother lived in. So shout out to whoever put that on there for no reason. He did not actually keep his mother's corpse. He kept his mother's things as if she were still alive, and then dressed up in her clothes and stuff.
Oh, thank you for telling me that.
Yeah. Now that,
what a wild, distinct difference.
Dude, I would have looked like an idiot telling other. I would have looked like an idiot.
The YouTube comment was the guy goes, I thought this was Just the Facts. And I wanted to be like, if you already knew, then why are you watching this? This is not for you.
To correct you. He's right.
Yeah.
He's absolutely right.
Shout out to...
He's
whatever.
right. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, he's totally right.
No,
but it's also like, hey, you know, how'd you watch this whole thing if you already knew about that?
To hold you accountable.
Okay.
Exactly. You got
to hold you accountable.
You got fact checked, bitch.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
on the video called Just for Facts.
Here's the other thing.
Yeah, you got fact checked, dude.
You play dangerous games.
Yeah, how about you calm down, Mr. Trump? Just over here making stuff up. Who do you think you are?
I've been holding that there for 20 seconds. We got the high five in.
You know what this podcast would be without me, okay? Be you fucking dum-dums sitting there giggling at each other, high-fiving while this dog humps a pillow. Okay?
Honestly, if it was just me and Sean, it wouldn't even be about horror movies. We would just be doing nonsense for an hour.
But
it'd be great, but every podcast would be 2 hours
supposed to be
long.
about horror movies, though. You're like, they didn't talk about it once.
It'd be funny. It'd be funny if your side podcast was called "Dad's Not Home." It's just you guys like, acting like dickheads.
But
That's
speaking
not
of
bad.
that, we still have not introduced the 2 movies.
Yeah.
Holy shit! So we've introduced the 2 movies, but we do want people to know
What they are.
If you don't give a shit about watching through these, or if you haven't seen them in a while, each movie, each week, Ray and Sean pick which one they want to talk about, and they kind of give you the rundown. So if you don't feel like rushing off to go watch Cabin Fever, or you didn't already watch the Patreon watch through of a movie with us, each week these 2 will be presenting the films for you. So we're going to start off with Cabin Fever. I believe Sean is going to be taking that.
That's all
Is
on
that
you,
correct?
baby.
Yeah, I'll be taking a look at that one.
Okay, so so Sean, go ahead and tell the audience, give them a synopsis of Cabin Fever.
I do want to say
Yeah.
that this movie was not chosen by me. I didn't pick it. You know, Ray just was really excited to pick The Cabin in the Woods. I didn't, have Cabin Fever for Cabin Fever per se. I just really wanted to say that. Let's get started.
Yeah.
He can't help himself.
can't
Once
help
it
himself.
pops up in his head,
He's got to
he
do
can't
it.
help
It's
himself.
got to come
I had
out.
to say that. And let me just say, Cabin Fever. Wow, what a ride. It was all right. It was a movie. It was a movie about, well, you're introduced to these 5 middle-aged high schoolers. They just graduated high school.
One of which is Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Well,
Wait,
no, that's Cabin
that's the other
Fever.
movie. The Cabin Fever.
Yeah, no, the good-looking
sorry.
guy
Yeah,
in
yeah,
this
yeah.
one was the guy from
Dude.
Boy Meets World.
Right, the guy from Boy Meets World, right?
Yeah.
Be careful. You might end up on Just the Facts. Hey, no way, but so basically, they're a real rambunctious group. Not the most likable individuals, but they go to this cabin in the middle of nowhere. And along the way, they stop at a little general store, and they meet the townsfolk. There's this weird kid who bites them, and he's just full of spunk. That little kid.
Yeah.
It's an interesting dynamic, and you kind of get this uneasy feeling about these people, right? They go to the cabin. Again, weird place. They just a weird, uneasy feeling you get when you're there. But they're having a good time. They're having brewskis,
Yeah.
enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, one of them runs into this guy who's like coughing blood, and he's like, "Hey, I'm sick." And then the guy is like, "Ah, man, but you're like kind of creeping me out." So he shoots him.
That's exactly what happened, though.
And he shoots him. He hits the man, and then the guy's like, "Ow!" And then he shoots him again, to make sure he's dead. And he runs back, like, "Oh my god!" And then they're chilling, right? Basically, the guy comes back fucked up looking, and they finish the job. He fucks up their car though, so they can't leave. And it's this whole ordeal where now they're worried about getting sick too, because occasionally one of the girls starts to cough, and then she's getting, red spots. It's all like jelly-like substances. Like, imagine the sickness is like you just had a whole jar of jelly to yourself, and you're just covered in it, and you're sticky because you get excited about this jar of jelly, and you want to eat it so fast you start pouring it all over your face, and that paired with the general feeling of dying. It doesn't really seem. They just don't really explain what it is.
Yeah.
It comes from the water. Spoilers. And it eventually, everyone dies. Let me just say that. Everyone dies, not directly from the fever usually. Usually the real cabin fever is the way we treated each other. So when they find out people are sick, like the townsfolk find out they're sick, they're like, hey, fucking, we're going to solve this, and they're going to kill them because that's what you do.
And that they did.
It was definitely...
That's how you handle a pandemic.
They were visionaries. You should have seen it. They didn't know about masks back in 2003.
No.
But
one guy was covering his face.
he was.
Yeah.
Well,
That man?
also they don't ever bother to figure out how it spread. They don't even know if it spreads a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that sort of thing about like remember the AIDS pandemic where when everybody didn't know how it was transmitted and everybody was like not wanting to be. They didn't know you had to have sex to get it.
Yeah.
Or like or blood transfusions or whatever. So like this is an example of those people when townsfolk ride in to kill them, and meanwhile it's in their water.
Well, that's the thing, because they didn't know the whole
Burning
time.
all the frogs gay.
It was revealed late that it was the water. The thing is, it actually wasn't even consistent because it was like, okay, if it was the water that whole time, because that was kind of what the implication, right?
Yeah.
The one guy that kept drinking beers stayed alive, but it's like the townsfolk were drinking this too, though, right?
Well,
no, but they kind of like hinted at it at the end when the townsfolk had the truck filled with like the water and stuff like that, and they were all drinking that water.
That water hadn't become a part of the town's water supply yet. Where they were out at the cabins is a different. That's why they had.
It was a different water reserve.
Oh,
yeah.
But it was going to make its way down there one way or the other.
man.
Yeah, for sure.
This movie outsmarted me. I looked like I tried to call this movie out,
Yeah,
and you guys said, "Actually,
movie.
cabin fever." I knew it shit.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. I still wouldn't really like it that much though, but it wasn't bad. There was like the characters in it were all purposely unlikable, right?
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. They were all even the character who's like the main character that's close to being likable.
from Boys Meets World.
Yeah, by the end of the
Ryder
movie,
Strong.
I was like, this guy's out of his fucking mind.
Yeah.
Like he just kind of like snapped and was just like, yeah, fuck it. Like there were so many things that he did that was unnecessary. Like he did not have to hit the cool cop.
Yeah.
The cool cop was on his side.
Dude, that
He
cop
like,
was
he
so
gonna
chill.
Party man.
He
dude.
literally said "party" every 3 words.
The only time
Yeah.
the cop acted like a cop was when he was mad that the party stopped.
Yeah, and also when he went to kill the main character, because then he was just like, I gotta kill you now.
I got a brutality.
And I was like, yeah, this looks like
Yeah.
corruption.
I got to invict brutality on you.
Well, I got a little bit of. So before we talk about we might as well just do Cabin Fever and then move on to Cabin in the Woods after we get done with Cabin Fever, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I got a little bit of a surprise for you guys. A little spoiler. That's actually on all of us now. That I just found out before this episode. There are sequels, as many horror movies have. However, these sequels, one of them has Ryder Strong in it. Cabin Fever 2 has Ryder Strong, the kid from Boy Meets World. So he doesn't actually die.
Holy shit.
What?
Yeah. I mean, unless he plays, I'm pretty sure it's the same character. Like,
No, that
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. What is it in the... He got shot, right? Wait, no, he does say off-screen, right? Because he's like,
Yeah,
I
no,
took
they
care of
left him.
Yeah.
He says they took care of him.
yeah.
Wait, does it show him in the water at the end, or is that a different guy?
I think
That's
that was
a different guy.
Yeah.
That's a different
Okay.
guy, yeah. So the entire franchise is actually a 4-film franchise at this point, but knowing horror movies, that could expand because there is no end. All you have to do is say, nope, it's like this now. They already made it to a remake, which is the 2016 version of the film, which,
Any better?
I don't know, but I would say it'd be worth a watch probably, because...
They can't even hear it.
Yeah, it's not even. Yeah, Cabin in the Woods films are always fun. I would kind of be interested to see a remake. 2016. I don't even know how I never found out that even happened.
I actually really liked it. I actually think it was pretty good.
The Cabin
First
Fever?
one, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like it's a little play on like words. Like it's like the idea is like cabin fever. They have a like legitimate fever and disease, but then it's just like they're actually getting cabin fever and like aggressively attacking each other.
Yeah.
What are you laughing at, bitch? What are you laughing at?
I like the idea of like in a 90-minute
episode.
movie because it's a play on words.
And then I'm like, that's what I like about it.
Yeah.
That's good wordplay.
That's good wordplay, dude. What do you want from it?
Well, the wordplay continues in number 2 because the second one's called Cabin Fever 2 Spring Fever.
Oh,
I wonder
okay.
when it takes place.
In October.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
God.
kind of let it go on Cabin Fever 3 because that's called Patient Zero. So I'm sorry.
So I thought Patient Zero was the guy who we saw, who was begging for help the entire time, and they're just like, "Fuck this guy, we're gonna kill him."
Yeah. It would be funny. The whole movie is just like from his perspective, and at the very end, he comes upon the cabin, and it's like POV of just people.
Oh, I would
killing
love
him.
to see a POV version of like him.
Yeah,
That would be great, dude. Because it was like, dude, what are you doing? They just
Yeah.
all kind of went nuts. Because I mean, he was covered in blood, which is like that's kind of scary.
yeah, it's a little scary.
That's a little scary, sure, but. He was also like, help, I need to go to the hospital now.
It's like
POV, you really need to go to the hospital.
Oh, it's a Chad Maxwell bit.
POV, you covered yourself in jelly and are about to ask for help to the strangers in the
Yeah.
cabin.
yeah. Let this be a lesson.
POV, you got an asthma attack after you covered yourself in jelly.
Yeah, let this be a lesson that if you think you're dying and you come upon strangers and you're asking for help, don't walk at them dyingly. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
I
just
guess don't
kinda-
get close to them. I guess that's especially after the pandemic. That's
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you stay
Jesus
over there,
Christ.
but can you get some? Can
Yeah.
you get me some help?
To be fair, he did always. Why did he get so close?
He kept getting very close.
he was trying to explain himself. Probably.
covered in blood. It's
Yeah,
like,
but he
dude,
also-
let me
he-
shake your hand.
Yeah, but he's also probably like gassed, you know, like or like breathing heavy, so it's hard for him to like speak loudly. They're like, "Stay over there." He's like, "I can't yell."
So,
He's got.
so
Sorry, but
here's a couple of just fun things about the cast. Fun things to know about them. So, Ryder Strong, obviously, Boy Meets World. But
Love him. He's my favorite character on it.
Yeah, and shout out to his parents for giving him a name, or him making his stage name. Whoever decided his stage name, it had to be his parents because he had
Ryder
that stage
Strong?
name. Yeah, he had that name when he was a kid.
Ryder Strong. You're on Boy Meets World. And now you're kind of gone. Sorry.
wait,
You know,
he's kind
Ray's
of
experimenting with this new format right now. So this is the part where we make a song.
This is why we make a song. A parody about how I don't see him in anything anymore.
But this is.
I thought he died.
I kind of thought he died.
Dude, that's what I was gonna say. It's kind of crazy because like it's
No,
crazy how time just can change so many things. Like Ryder Strong was like the get for this movie. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he was already pretty popular coming out of what was that second? It was like an extension, right? Or no, it was just like the later years of Boy Meets World, right? Where they go to college and stuff. They like did that.
He was a character that was like, he was trouble. I identified with him, obviously. Because it was just like, my dad's abusive.
Right.
And, you know, it was like, oh, I like this guy. I don't know why.
Well, when he left Boy Meets World,
Now I know why.
yeah. Well, when he left Boy Meets World, he really only had like a year or two before, you know, like doing this film, or at least the beginning of production.
Yeah.
So he was like a get for this movie, and then Cabin Fever 2, that came out. When was that? That was in 2009. So I mean, that was, you know, many years after. But really, when you look at his IMDb, I mean, he's done a lot of stuff. All the actors in the film pretty much continued to do, or at least like the main cast continued to do stuff, but he didn't really. I mean, not anything that most people would recognize. Really, this is the sequel to Cabin Fever. You know.
Yeah.
The other guy, James DeBello, was the guy that the guy that had all the like classic '90s meathead kind of stuff. Like where what did he say was?
Well,
gay?
that's what made me like question where the movie was filmed, or not filmed at, but like set at, because he had FU on his hat.
Yeah.
Which I like. Clearly, it's FU because like, you know, he's a fuckhead.
Yeah.
But then also I just was like, Florida University.
I loved when he was like, they were just chilling by the campfire, and like one of the girls made this like just playful insult towards him, and he goes, "Shut up, you fucking slut." And her boyfriend's just there like,
He's like, she is kind of a what was the thing they say is gay in the beginning? Like immediately.
oh yeah. What did he say? He just, I don't know. He was just like, dude, I'm not
they
fucking.
they were like, what are you doing? He's like shooting squirrels, and they were like, why are you shooting squirrels? And he was like, because they're gay.
What the fuck? Yeah, this is a very 2003, but shot in 2001.
Which is funny because he panicked like a liberal during the pandemic. Like it was very much like mass up type energy, but then like was super douchey. Like he definitely listened to the Joe Rogan podcast, but he also listened to Dr. Fauci.
Yeah, his two heroes.
His two heroes, Fauci and Rogan.
He was like, he was so anti-mask, but at the same time, he was like, yeah, fucking grab him by the pussy.
He seemed like that one cop that like he was super anti-mask, anti-vax, all that stuff, and then it's not funny. I shouldn't laugh about it.
No.
It's a little bit funny though, because as soon as he got COVID and he's like dying in the hospital, and then he's like taking selfies and like making videos, being like, it's real, and you're like, fucking. Anyway,
oh yeah, that kind of was. Once he got a little bit of jelly on him, he was like, bro.
Yeah. And then he goes.
That's when he started freaking out.
They're all trying to escape in the truck, and he's like, well, they're like, she's contagious, and he goes, well, whatever, we don't know who is and who isn't now, so let's just get it. Like he's trying to convince them that it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah. And so immediately everybody's like, wait, you're not being all selfish and weird like you usually are. What's going on with that? And it's like, oh, because he needs to get himself to a hospital.
But he also still left her.
Yeah,
which I was just like, dude, what does it matter? Just take you and her to the hospital.
Right. So James DeBello, the guy that played that character, the character is so quintessential to that time and the other characters he's played in movies, because here's his biggest other stuff, right? He's in Detroit Rock City, which is not necessarily of the time, but a good movie from then. Scary Movie 2.
Yeah.
And National Lampoon's Dorm Days and Dorm Days 2. He's in both. I believe he's the lead character for that. So that guy is that character in this other stuff too.
He's got it down, though, I will say.
And what's crazy is Detroit Rock City is also there's another. Who else was in it? There's like three of these cast members are in Detroit Rock City, which is kind of funny. Like,
you're right.
I don't know how they all wound up there because Eli Roth didn't do that. Joey Kern, who was the blonde guy, the like super, the guy who was like, I made it, and then they fucking kill him.
Dude, he was, but he did how I would handle any of these horror movies. Yeah. He's like, I'm just gonna go fucking get drunk in the woods. I was like, dude, that's a great plan.
It bums me out about Joey Kern because he's so funny, man. Like, he's a funny dude.
Yeah,
like he's fun to watch, and he's like.
Which guy's that?
The blonde guy.
Oh yeah.
Like he's a good actor and he's fun to watch, and he's so like he plays the character sincerely, but still like in like a funny way.
Yeah.
Right.
And he didn't really go on to do a whole lot of. I mean, he did a lot of other work, but not stuff that you necessarily would know him from.
Yeah.
I did want to say the movie that I love him from that not everybody would know him because no one saw this movie, but it's so funny. It's an 80s parody movie called Totally Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got Chris Kattan and Mikey Day from SNL, and also, oh my God, I'm blanking right now. Who's the comic that got hit by the Walmart truck? Tracy Morgan.
Oh, there was a lot of coke on that set.
Yo, yeah, that's there's the coke jokes.
Tons of coke in that set.
Yeah, the coke jokes in it are. It's full, yeah.
But that kind of like checks out.
Yeah, right. What you know.
But the two movies,
exactly, dude.
The two movies you would know him from though are Super Troopers. He's one of the kids in the cars, and the schnozberries taste like schnozberries.
Oh, dude, Super Troopers is a classic. I fucking love Super Troopers.
And also the movie Grind.
Okay.
That old movie that is one of those very 90s movies. Well, extreme sports. Okay.
Oh hell yeah.
But the person who really before I get to that, Jordan Ladd is probably the person horror wise who really went on to do a lot of cool stuff because Eli Roth kept working with her. Her first role was in Charlie's Angels. She was 3 years old, and she was in the original Charlie's Angels show around the end of it. But she was also in Hostel 2. Another
like classic horror movie.
Yep, and Eli Roth directed.
Oh, that's right. Yep. Yeah, he did.
Yep, and then she was also in. She was in the Grindhouse movies. She was in Death Proof, which was the one that Tarantino directed. Which, if you haven't seen Grindhouse, you got to watch it.
Okay. So, like Grindhouse, I haven't seen it, but there's a trailer in Grindhouse that is the movie Thanksgiving,
and she is in the trailer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that became an actual movie,
right.
Which with Thanksgiving also fucking fantastic film.
Yeah,
I fucking love that movie. It was so fun.
They did this awesome thing. Me and my buddies went to go see it when it came out, but when Grindhouse came out, they showed it the way you'd go see a Grindhouse movie. So Thanksgiving and Machete and I forget the other movie, but they have fake trailers for fake movies and also fake commercials that they shot for Grindhouse, and then they showed Planet Terror and Death Proof. Planet Terror is Robert Rodriguez, and then Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof. And you'd watch it, and it was like a 3-hour thing. It was so cool, like the way they did it.
Yeah.
And the movies are just a little bit short because, like we talked about before, all those like movies back in the day, you'd try to get them around 84 minutes, so it was 2 canisters of film, so it was cheaper because film was expensive back in the day, you know. Now you don't necessarily have to shoot that way. You can shoot like we are with digital, you know.
Yeah, which is interesting, like that they did that because like they tried that before too with like Dawn of the Dead or not Dawn of the Dead. Hold on, From Dusk Till Dawn. Yeah. And that's also like when you watch that movie, you're like, okay, this is where Quentin Tarantino ends and Robert Rodriguez starts.
Yeah, 100%.
Because it's like so like on the nose. Like you're like, okay, this is a different film.
Yeah.
Like vampires? Okay, cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
But
that's another great one.
But the guy who had the
Awful
best
show
career,
though.
Oh yeah, don't.
The show is dog shit.
And the sequels, the shows, it's all. You know, if you got nothing better to do on a weekend and your leg's broken or something.
Yeah.
You know who had the best career though? This is gonna blow your dicks off, guys. The guy who played the cop.
What?
His name is Giuseppe Andrews.
Yeah.
Which his real name's Giuseppe. It's like, come on, dude. That guy fucks, dude.
That's so fucking Italian. That's not even like New York Italian. That's like, my name is Giuseppe. Like, do you want some snow cones?
Yeah, and he had to say to his family, I don't want to inherit the pizza shop. I want to be an actor.
Yeah. I don't want to sell Italian ice on the corner with you guys.
Dude, he's in so many movies. He's in. This is just some of the ones I wrote down because they're the biggest ones. But he's in.
Giuseppe is a part of the family tradition. Okay.
Jesus fucking Christ. So Giuseppe Andrews, he's in.
I love how his last name's Andrews.
Yeah, that is funny.
He's not fucking Italian at all. And we're like, he's so old world.
Yeah, he's
Giuseppe Andrews.
Yeah.
All right.
I like that he probably says it with the accent too. Giuseppe Andrews.
My name is Marinara O'Brien.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
But check out this guy's history of films, dude. Look at this. So obviously Cabin Fever 2. He's in that. So I think it makes sense that him and Ryder Strong are both in the movie because clearly they're trying to tie up some loose ends with that.
Yeah.
He's in Detroit Rock City. He's another one of the guys that's in that. He's in Never Been Kissed, which I believe Ryder Strong is also in that, and Detroit Rock City, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
He's in Independence Day. I totally forgot. I just watched it the other day.
Who is he in Independence Day?
He's one of the kids because he was super young.
Okay. What a movie.
American History X.
Yeah.
Pleasantville. And he's in like
holy shit, dude! These are all like quality ass films.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and he's also in like a bunch of Smashing Pumpkins music videos.
That's dope.
Yeah,
and what? He was like the chillest cop on the scene.
Yeah,
fucking party man, bro. He's like, I don't care that there's a bunch of blood on your Jeep.
No, dude, it's cool that you got like bits of pumpkin everywhere. Dude, I'm chill with that. You can keep smashing them.
Dude, I'm so fucking chill.
So there's a behind the scenes.
He plays the same character in everything.
There's a behind the scenes thing on YouTube that's actually pretty cool. So if you want to see the behind the scenes on the movie Cabin Fever, it's really cool to see that like the cast really had a good time together because it was a lower budget independent film. They all like hung out and shot. It wasn't like anybody went back to their trailers and stuff. Like they all kind of hung around each other, and you can see them like in scenes together, like or scenes they're not in together, like just standing off to the side, and then like between cuts they're like joking around with each other and stuff.
Yeah,
it was really cool to watch. So one of the things about that though, Ryder Strong, must have had a good time on that set. Because he had this thing happen where, remember how they were at night and like you see the air coming out of his mouth and he's like covered in blood at the end and he like comes upon the cops and everything. He had the kind of blood they were using for that. It was so cold that the blood started to coagulate like on them, and they had him wear a wetsuit so he wouldn't be like so cold at night. Because a wetsuit would like keep him warm, but the blood when it was still wet was starting to like drip down into his wetsuit. It would drip down inside the wetsuit, but then it would be there for so long it would coagulate, and so when he went to take it off, it like ripped off his skin. And then he said that like it was so strong from the cold, like freezing it, and then the heat and the cold and everything, that he would spend like 3 days like peeling it off him.
That's crazy, dude.
And then he still went back and shot another movie with him. So clearly he was like still down, which is cool.
Yeah.
Another fun fact.
Because sometimes you're just broke.
Yeah,
he might not have done that out of passion.
We don't have to call out Ryder Strong for,
you don't know, dude.
Damn,
I get it.
That must have been wild.
I get it. You're like, fuck, man. Like,
yeah,
this is kind of the most paying right now. I'll take it.
That was 3 excruciating hours where I was just peeling patches of fake blood off my cold.
Yeah, but
dead.
nobody gave me a phone call for a long time, and then homeboy was like, "Hey, you want to do that again?" And you were like, "I don't."
Hey, you're like, "Well,
but I gotta fucking pay rent. This is Los Angeles."
Will there be more blood-filled wetsuits? And he's like, "Yeah," and he's like,
yeah.
Well, I'm still gonna do it. So like, well, then I'm still gonna.
I'll say this though.
He's like, I'm 3 months behind.
I'll say this from working on horror movies though, man. It's so much fun that you just like the pain and stuff from like all the like independent shooting. Like I remember doing that with my friends when we used to shoot stuff, and you'd be like, God, that sucked. But you'd be like excited to do it again because it was just fun, man. It was
I feel like I got a little bit of that doing like scare acting.
Yeah.
Because like when like the scare the escape game I worked at that where I was a scare actor, it was just like it was so makeshift. This wasn't like a big corporation. This was like a small family owned business. Like it was like most of the time up to us as scare actors to like manage the construction and set of the room because things would fall apart and you'd have to make things work. And then like sometimes you just get a little creative and you're like, oh, I'm gonna make this shit weirdly scary. And like, yeah, you just had a lot of fun with it, just fucking around, hiding in places that like normally no one else is hiding in. I got really good at like, is because like they would walk in the room, it'd be pitch black when they walk in the room, and it's usually one person walks in the room to open the door first for the rest of the group, and I'd just be sitting on like a chair. Like in the middle of the room, and they're like all the way in the distance, just rocking back and forth. Oh, dude, it was great. It was great. And you all dropped the keys. You think you won't. You think, oh no, how did they drop the keys in this horror movie? What a fucking idiots. You all will drop the keys.
All right. Okay.
Sorry. They did it all the time. All the time.
Yeah, so now you gotta be quiet. And also, Ryder Strong, he understands.
Yeah, he gets
He's
it.
been to it. He's got.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he does all these movies no one knows, because they're more fun,
Yeah.
He likes making scale, so you can, So this is pretty cool, too, where Eli Roth got the idea for Cabin Fever. He was working on a horse ranch in Iceland. And I think it was in Iceland. I want to make sure. Yeah. He was working
Turner's so pissed.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's so pissed.
Turner wants to go out because he's just like fucking doesn't want to do his job.
Yeah.
He's bored.
He heard the word out and he's like freaking
Turner,
out.
come here.
So
boy.
So Eli Roth got the idea for Cabin Fever Well, he was working at a horse ranch in Iceland, and he was 19 years old, and I forget exactly why he was there. He's just there for a summer or something, and making some money by working at this horse ranch. And he got like he said it was kind of like a ringworm type of bacterial virus, and he said that it made his flesh so raw, and he didn't realize it because he was just working. And he goes, one day he went to scratch, and he went like that, and like looked, and like flesh came off, and it was like in his fingernails, and he had to go get a ride into town, which in Iceland it's Reykjavik. This is like the nearest place it's the only like real town.
Yeah, I don't even know what word you just used.
It's the capital of Iceland, but it's like
say it again.
Reykjavik.
Ooh, that was weird.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm even saying that right.
I don't either, but I've seen it written because I play Football Manager, and if there's any Icelandic players, you get them from that club team.
Yeah.
Reykjavik.
Well, anyway, he was like, they were like, yeah, it's a good thing you got here.
Yeah.
Who knows how bad this could have gotten. But he got the idea from tearing his own flesh off his neck. So that's fun.
That's pretty cool.
So this movie was pieced together with, getting people to invest. He went to like these dentists in New York who were all guys who just like to have their names and credits and stuff and just looking to like, maybe if you could put me in part of the movie or something. Like these people that just they're working regular jobs, but they still, that artistic part of them was still like, yeah, I'll throw you $10,000 or whatever. So I mean, essentially Kickstarter before Kickstarter, right? Like this old way of like piecing things together. And luckily, an investor had kind of come upon the project and decided to kick in the extra money they needed. But it really wasn't a lot of money. I mean, they were, at one point a union came in, found them, and like had everybody, like all the crew guys sign that they were going to be union, and they were like, you got to come up with $100,000 to like have your union guys here now, because they're all in the union now, and like basically like strong arming them, because he said in an interview they do this thing where they go find independent productions.
Yeah,
they left Hollywood and came to North Carolina in the middle of the woods, found the set, and then got these guys to sign. And because like, and these are low budget small horror movies.
That's crazy, because it like and the thing about unions, it's like it like, I'm a little bit of a leftist, so I want to be on their side.
Yeah,
but my fucking God, are there some corrupt ass unions?
Well, but the other thing is they're meant for when you're working in these giant studios
and giant corporations. They're not meant for small businesses.
If you know,
small businesses themselves are like almost communities.
Right, exactly.
Their own little communities.
Yeah, a lot of these people, like, I mean, I'm sure there was some like interns and stuff, or people doing it for like the way that film works, where you do like for credit and stuff. But like almost everybody working on that set was a professional actors, professional crew. It's not like these people weren't. Like, they were choosing to work in those conditions.
They understood what was like being handed to them. They 100%. Understood like what, this is a small thing. Yeah. It's not a big production. I'll let things kind of like go a little bit just so I can like help gather the.
So then why would they sign for it? Why would they choose to?
They basically like strong arm. They're like, if you don't join the union, you're not going to get any work after this. So like what's more important to you, finishing this project or like ruining your career?
And some of the Los Angeles unions too, like, or like that, especially the entertainment unions in Los Angeles can like fuck people over, especially during the strikes. That was happening a lot. Yeah. Where like I had buddies who were like about to sell a script, and it was like their fucking big breaks, and like the unions were like, no.
Yeah,
and it's just like, man, I can't pay my rent right now. Unions were like, well, if you go outside of this, like,
unions aren't bad, but they can do the right thing the wrong way sometimes.
Exactly. Good intentions, bad outcomes, which is like most of a lot of government.
Yeah, exactly. So Eli Roth went to his dad, and he's like, my dad's not rich, but he knew he had a retirement fund and he had some stocks. His dad cashed out everything. Yeah, and invested in his son, which is the coolest thing. Like this guy to be able to pay off the union fees and get everything like up to date so they could finish the film. Yeah, his dad cashed out his entire life savings and gave it to him, and then they finished the film, and then he became this like, iconic horror director. But like, it's crazy to think, man, if that had gone sideways, his dad would be like, cool, man, hope you're ready to live in a trailer forever or whatever. His dad was a doctor, so they were going to be fine. But like, at that point, like, everything his dad had worked for his whole life, he had to cash in and give to his son and be like, "Don't ruin it." Like, so it's pretty wild, man.
Now I feel bad saying it was just an okay movie. I'm like, hey, listen, honestly, it was really good.
I thought it was really good. I really liked it.
When you consider they made that for $1.5 million, I mean that's extremely low.
Yeah,
which is unbelievably impressive for this.
That's pretty
movie.
good. Yeah.
I mean, normally when a budget has a low, like remember when we watched our 2 episodes ago, we watched our 4th of July special, Uncle Sam, which they shot for $3 million, or was it $2 million? $2 or $3 million. $2
or $3 million. Yeah.
And remember how The Purge they shot for? It was only $1 million difference, and it's unbelievably.
So probably 2 and 3 million. Then. Yeah.
Well,
so,
that's also like it's all about who you hire, dude.
Right.
And like people don't understand that, and like certain people don't understand how important editing is and how it changes the entire vibe of how any content is presented, and it is extremely important to hire the right editor.
Yeah. And what do you do for a living, Ray?
I'm a freelance video editor.
And professional stand-up comedian.
And professional stand-up comedian.
All right, so we don't have time for all our vendettas right now, but we're going to keep moving.
What vendettas, dude? What are you talking about?
Dude, guess how much money Cabin Fever made. How much do you think, Sean? How much money did it make box office? Not counting DVD sales, because it did fucking great on DVD sales.
Okay. And it cost $2.5 million?
1.5.
Geez.
Yeah.
Wow, that's actually impressive that it was less than Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
And
it was only
it was so
no, it was way it was way better.
It was only like they shot it like it was only like a 5 or 6 year difference between when they shot those movies. Like it wasn't that big of a jump. I mean,
shit. I'll go. I'm guessing it just wasn't as big box office, but I'll say $5 million.
Okay. What do you think, Ray?
Their budget, or like what they made in the box office?
The budget was 1.5. What do you think it made box office?
Box office, I'm gonna say $10 million.
10 million.
Because like I feel like it was kind of popular. I feel like when it came out, like I remember hearing about it.
So Eli Roth couldn't get anybody to pick this movie up for traditional means of investors, right? At the last minute, they had somebody kind of come in. It went around festival circuits. When they finally released it, they got it released to, I believe, a little over 3,000 theaters through all independently going, and like basically like how music guys used to go to radio DJs and be like, "Hey, will you spin this?" I mean, they had a publicist that worked super hard for them to get these out to these theaters, and after going to the festival circuit and a small release to all these theaters, it later got picked up by Lionsgate, who helped distribute it. And this is back early on when Lionsgate had only had a few big hits, like American Psycho was like one of their first real big ones. And I mean, this is maybe their like 4th or 5th movie. I mean, it's before Saw. I mean, Saw was like their big, horror breakout. But through
the Fast and the Furious of horror movies,
indeed. But through that beginning push, it got noticed and then put out. So its final box office came out at $30 million.
Holy!
We both undershot it, and I tried to give it a little bit of a higher shot than Sean did. What did you say?
5, but that's because I was saying like I figured it wasn't as big in theaters as in like I didn't think it would be. I was thinking like the first part where it wasn't as widespread.
Well, it had the feel of a movie that did well later in stores and stuff.
When it came out, I remember it being like a thing that people were like it was like it's like one of those like when there's certain horror movies that get released that like everyone's just kind of like dude, it's wild, like it's like almost like we all just got a hold of a snuff film, like we're all like, oh my god, have you seen this? And Cabin Fever was like one of those movies, like very much early on that I remember, probably the earliest that I remember that everybody was like, dude, have you seen it? Like, and Hostile, also funny enough, also
Hostile.
Eli, what was it?
Hostile,
like also Eli Roth.
Yeah,
where it's just like, that was another movie that I remember when that came out. Everybody was just like, yeah, I seen Hostile.
Yeah,
I was just like, Oh, what a badass, dude.
You know, I remember from Hostel is the trailer because it was playing all the time when it came out, and especially like working in a video store at that time, and it was always this like really deep German voice because you know it's like the European, like it was always this guy. This was like Ostel Deitzwei, and then they just have this creepy like scratchy voice, and you're like, that's how I learned how to say part 2 in German, Deitzwei. Nice. That's all I know. I don't know anything else.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes score: critics 62%, audience 44%. Which I feel like critics. That's kind of fair. It's like there's stuff.
What was it? What was critics? 82?
Critics 62.
62.
Okay. You know, I gotta say I wasn't like a huge fan of it when I first saw it when it came out. And then seeing it again and then learning so much about the creation of it and everything. Yeah. Just makes you go, it just that root for the underdog thing where you're like, fuck them. Give them a 90. You know what I mean? Like you're just excited for it.
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was well put together. I thought the way things like kind of like played out as far as like, you know, when they chose what scene should be happening when, like I just thought it flowed well. Yeah. You know, there were some things that were very satisfying, like the dude getting drunk in the woods and then getting shot at the end. Like it was just like it was like a jarring moment, but very satisfying to be like, oh, this is so stupid and fun. Yeah. And then the N-word joke, which I was just like, was this whole movie built around an N-word joke? Like, what the fuck, bro?
There are for sure some things that are very. I mean, Dynamite Hack that year,
so questionable,
or like the year before they shot this film or started production. Yeah, Dynamite Hack had put out a song, you know, where they cover Eazy-E and they say the N-word in the acoustic cover. Yeah, because they're like, how funny is that? These white guys playing an acoustic version of a rap song, and then they say the N-word in it, right? And they save it for the end. But yeah, there was a vibe. I mean,
Rage Against the Machines did the same thing, but they're also Mexican, so I guess it's a little different. But I don't know. Black. People might get mad at this. Who's black?
Tom Morello.
Oh, Tom Morello's part black?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Zach De La Rocha's is.
I don't know. Doesn't matter. Anyway,
I think he's Mexican.
We should just move on. That wraps up the Cabin Fever portion. Sean, thank you for your synopsis. I feel like you did a pretty good job.
You're welcome.
We're going to move on to Cabin in the Woods, and before we deep dive into any of that stuff, we're going to let our buddy Ray kind of give you the rundown. So if you haven't seen Cabin in the Woods, this is your rundown, and if you have seen it, here's a little refresher.
All right, first off, I might be wrong about Zach De La Rocha being Mexican. I also, me and him have the same type of hair, so I kind of like, he might be also Afro-Latino. I have parts Afro-Latino. I want to say that.
I'm going to add in chapters, and I would love the idea that somebody comes in on the chapter of Cabin in the Woods. They're like, what is he talking about?
Right, but Cabin in the Woods, 100% one of my favorite movies because I love horror comedies the most, and this is probably the one of like the top tier like horror comedy movies. I put Cabin in the Woods up there with like Shaun of the Dead. Like they're both like they're very good horror because they understand the genre of horror. Yeah, and they are just both super fucking funny. Cabin in the Woods starts out as very basic cabin in the woods, very Evil Dead-esque of showing up to a cabin in the woods, a very hard trope of, douchey jock guy, very, very slutty white girl, blonde white girl, the dorky virgin white girl, the nerdy guy, and the goofball. Yeah. It's such a standard trope, and they make it very obvious in the beginning of the movie, to the degree where it's just like you're not really sure if this is like horror, and it's not. It's horror comedy. It very much plays with the lines, and then they start jumping back and forth between that and then guys who are like kind of sitting at like kind of like a NASA control room, who are like also like kind of watching the events play out with you as the audience, which is awesome. Because I feel like it kind of like, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, they point out the elephants in the room and it makes you laugh because it's like, yeah, we're all kind of thinking that too. And it's great. And then it turns out that those guys who were in the NASA room were actually plotting and planning all of the situations that were happening, and then they start showing you other horror tropes, like kind of the Ring and the Japanese horror back and forth, and then you see a lot of surveillance footage of like other like horror tropes, and then it very quickly starts
happening in different places around the world.
Happening in different places around the world, and it very quickly like starts to open up on this organization that is basically making horror movies happen in real time across the world, in order to please an evil god or evil gods, so that the end of the world won't come. And you don't really see that until the end, but like that's what they're kind of trying to do, and it kind of hints at it most of the time.
One of the great lines is when they say, the security guard guy who's like new there, he says, "Oh, it's like you guys are trying to make nightmares come true," and they said, "No, the truth is these, and the nightmares come from the truth. Like they've always been here."
Yeah.
Like there's always been werewolves, there's always been ghosts, there's always been the creepy little twins, like from The Shining. Like they have like a little pen in there, like it's really cool.
But what makes this like that twist is that the characters that show up to the cabin aren't actually those characters. So when people start acting like those characters, the actual characters themselves like go, that's not how they usually are, and then that's when they start kind of like picking up on it. And then the the Shaggy of the group, and the Velma of the group, and I'm going to use Scooby-Doo because like Scooby-Doo is like the classic horror trope.
Yeah.
If we want to be real, it's if you look at the way they describe the movie too, like the scholar, the fool, it's Scooby-Doo. Yeah. It's fucking Scooby-Doo.
Well, that was my favorite thing about watching Sean watch horror movies is because Ray and I are avid horror fans. Sean is just like along for the ride, having a good time, but
learning.
But he also takes it serious. Like he actually like in a fun way. Like he's willing to watch the movies, willing to learn the stuff. But it's fun to watch someone learn horror tropes in the moment, because when the movie started, we had just watched Cabin Fever, and then as soon as this started, Sean goes, "Oh, it's like the same setup," because the kids like stop at the gas station, and then to watch someone like you're like, "Oh yeah, there's a reason that they're doing it that way." Like they're doing the setup that is a lot of horror movies, like setting up the trope. So it's kind of fun to watch Sean.
And then Cabin in the Woods is like it breaks that mold.
Breaks the mold and the
meta.
Yeah, it's like it's super meta, and like. And the thing about Cabin in the Woods is, like, I love how meta it becomes, but also it becomes so fucking real and honest and genuine as it's being meta. Like, it's like the dialogue between the characters as they're, like, going through the situation of, like, actually figuring out that, oh, we're not actually being attacked by undead creatures, and there's actually a whole organization. Like, that as soon as, like, we cross that threshold, like, the dialogue becomes so fucking real. Yeah. And
they are being attacked by undead creatures, but they're being targeted is what they realize.
Yeah. Right, for sure. And like you get snippets of it before because you're going back and forth with the the NASA guys or the NASA guys or whoever that organization was. Do you ever give him a name?
I think there's probably stuff written down, and I don't think they ever like say it. If I'm not mistaken. They might say it right at the beginning.
My favorite scene though is when the Asian girls, like you see it before it cuts to the Asian girl, like the little classroom of like Asian girls. I want to say it's Japanese because it's like it's very much got Japanese horror vibes all over it. Yeah.
It's supposed to be like The Ring.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like The Ring, and it's just like Japanese, like demon comes out and terrorizes this little group of schoolgirls, and like you see that, and then when it comes back, the girls have figured out an incantation to seal her away in a bowl of flowers.
Yeah.
And they're like singing and chanting, and it's such a beautiful moment. And then it kind of backs away from the screen, so it seems like now you're looking at a screen. And then one of the characters who was a part of the organization that's making it happen looks at the screen at these little girls and goes, "Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you!" Dude, it's my favorite scene.
Yeah, it's so great.
Stupid.
It's great too because like it's kind of like touching on the way that these horror movies end, right? Where like, how would the people feel if you knew that like if Michael Myers didn't catch it didn't murder his sister, the world would end. You'd be like, come on, like, and so they do.
Yeah, they
touch
were
on
kind
that.
of selfish, honestly.
Yeah.
No, the two characters that survived, they're like, sorry, we'd rather.
Yeah.
I mean, to be real, the movie is a play on like the way we look at violence in our culture, and like the way we look at violence in media and stuff like that.
Tell them how it ends.
Definitely a whole underlining.
Tell
thing.
them how it ends. We got to finish stuff.
Oh yeah. So it ends by figuring out that who they thought the organization thought who the virgin wasn't actually the virgin. She had actually slept with a teacher.
Yeah.
And it was totally the stoner dude who was the virgin at the end.
And the stoner and the virgin, quote unquote, actually slip into the facility. They find like a trap door and slip into the facility and get in and start fucking shit up.
And it's fucking shit up, releasing all of the creatures and stuff like that. Basically having a hand in like creating the end of the world.
Yeah.
And they just kind of sit there and smoke a joint while the end of the world shows up, which is fucking dope.
And great cameo by Sigourney Weaver coming in at the end.
Yeah.
There.
Well, because like how, like also funny as fuck that, because if you think about it, it's like Sigourney Weaver, if like you watch the Alien movies, like she's always the survivor. She's always the survivor. She survives at least all 4 Alien movies, I think.
So. She might
there
have
was like
died
the Planet Prison one. There was Aliens. There was Alien 1, and then I think Alien 2. Was there Alien 2 or was it just Aliens?
There's Alien, Aliens, Alien Resurrection, and then whatever the fuck.
The Planet Prison one.
Yeah.
And then so she survives all of them, right?
Yeah.
And like so she is the horror survivor.
Yeah.
So she's like
one of the final girls.
Exactly. She's a final girl.
A badass final girl.
She's the final, and in Cabin in the Woods, she's the final girl and the final boss.
Right,
you know,
right.
It's so dope, dude. It's just like at the end of the tunnel, you have to fight Sigourney Weaver. That's.
But then the great twist at the end, they kill Sigourney Weaver.
Mm-hmm.
And they send her Sigourney Weaver. Yeah, I guess he does kill her because at the very end, the 2 kids are the only ones left, and
the Hatchet Girl killed her. The zombie Hatchet Girl.
Right, zombie Hatchet Girl. And then at the end, the 2 kids say, "Fuck it, you guys want to keep making us sacrifice each other to appease the gods? Well, maybe we need something else." And they're like, "There won't be anything else." Like, we don't care. I kind of get it.
Yeah.
Fuck them. Like,
fuck them.
Like, oh, you guys are going to destroy the world for no fucking reason? Just, okay.
Here's the thing. Their reasoning wasn't for no fucking reason. It was like, if the world has to survive by, like, sacrificing
I'm saying the gods are going to come for no reason. You're just going to kill everybody because, like, that's how you want to be in the world. Well, fuck you then.
Yeah.
Then destroy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Live by yourselves. Fucking Kronos' hand coming out of the end. And like,
that was dope.
Yeah.
That was dope. Also, Thor before he was Thor.
Bro.
Clotheslining small women.
Yeah. That was cool.
So
that was cool.
There couldn't have been a person who had worse luck during the filming of this movie. Chris Hemsworth shot Cabin in the Woods and what was the other one? Oh, the remake of Red Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like back to back, he shot those movies, and then the same company that put out those movies went bankrupt.
Really?
They shot those movies in like 2009, but those movies didn't come out until I think it was 2012 or 2013 is when Cabin in the Woods came out, and 2012, and same with Red Dawn. And so when he shot Thor: The Dark World, that came out that year, Chris Hemsworth, like, this one of those things where you can't get too attached to the moment, right?
Yeah.
Shot 2 movies that never got released at first, right? And then all of a sudden, 2012, he's in 3 movies in the same year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fucking wild, dude. And he actually got the job for Thor he got from people watching the dailies of this movie.
That's fucking dope.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sorry. Red Dawn. They gave him Red Dawn.
Oh, okay.
Which is pretty cool. Like to get cast off the dailies of another movie is fucking wild.
Oh, for sure. But also, you can see a little Thor in him. Like, especially when he clotheslines the little girl. Dude, that was so hard. That scene goes so hard.
That scene goes hard. All right, fun facts real quick because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Drew Goddard directed and wrote this, but he co-wrote it with Joss Whedon, who also was the producer on it.
Right.
Joss Whedon recently, I'm pretty sure everybody figured out was a creep.
Oh,
what happened with Joss Whedon?
I don't even know who that is.
Just did some standard being a creep shit. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing
Didn't he
criminal.
direct a bunch of superhero movies too?
Yeah. He directed Chris Hemsworth in the Avengers, I believe.
There it
I
is.
believe
Okay.
Joss Whedon did the first Avengers, I think.
Really?
I'm fairly
he was
certain.
like a creep, like super creep.
Yeah, doing cool guy stuff.
he's a super creep.
Yeah,
super
you
creep.
fucking Hollywood.
He's super creepy.
not a
yeah.
Weinstein, not a Weinstein, but a Whedon.
Yeah. I really wish they'd stop that so that my Florida friends don't think I'm going to Los Angeles to fuck kids. So that'd be nice. That'd be nice if you guys got your shit together.
So the director writer, the two of them sat down. What?
What'd you say?
No, I don't know.
Jesus Christ!
I'm not acknowledging that.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Did you really eat ice cream on you're eating ice cream on the pod?
All right, we don't have time.
All right.
Yeah.
So Joss Whedon, Drew Gordon, and Joss Whedon wrote the script in 3 days. So if there's
we can tell.
So if there's anything you're like, that seems like that didn't add up.
Wild. That's actually
insane.
really good. Like, cause like that's a good fucking movie, dude. That's a good fucking movie. Also, I want to say that because I always bring up Halloween Horror Nights in the podcast because Halloween Horror Nights is my introduction to horror. Before Halloween Horror Nights, I wasn't watching too much horror. I saw a couple horror movies.
Sure.
When I was like 14 when I started going to Halloween Horror Nights. Never missed a Halloween Horror Nights since I was 14 years old. And so most horror movies I've been introduced to through Halloween Horror Nights. Like I got to be in the movies first and then look up the movies, which was dope. That's a great fucking weird introduction to it. But Cabin in the Woods is one of my favorite Halloween Horror Nights memories because it was such a good house. That hallway scene that you saw in the movie where it's like they all start coming out of the elevators, incredibly terrifying to walk through. There's like three elevators on one side, 3 elevators on another. They're opening up constantly and closing. You don't know who's coming. As soon as you hear like a ding, you start freaking the fuck out because you're like, where the fuck is it coming from? It's a room full of bodies. Dude, I've had nightmares on nightmares of that scene, but after walking through there because it was so detailed and so graphic.
Yeah.
Cabin in the Woods immediately became one of my favorite movies because like I got to like enjoy that.
Well, it's wild that it even got put out because once again, Lionsgate came to the fucking rescue.
Mm-hmm.
Lionsgate came in and they said, why isn't this film out? This company went under. Nobody bought it. And Lionsgate was like, hey, we'll do it. So
yeah, when did they buy it?
So they bought it, I would assume the same year it got put out because it was already finished. Like Lionsgate didn't have to do anything but make sure it got distributed.
What year did it come out?
2012 was the official release.
2012 is when they dropped it in Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah, and they,
It was a 2012 house.
and they made a good call because the budget was $30 million. How much do you guys think how much do you think it made box office?
How was the budget again?
Budget was $30 million.
30 million. Cabin in the Woods is kind of a cult classic though, like for horror movies. Fanatics. Like I know a lot of people who love horror movies. I love Cabin in the Woods, and I'm gonna go big. I'm gonna go like 70 million.
Okay, what do you think?
But then I'll go big because I feel like he knows what he's talking about.
Okay.
I'll say 62 million.
Okay, all right. Like you said, I'll go big and then went smaller than you.
Yeah.
Whoa, that feels big compared to you because the other
Yeah,
movie, Cabin
yeah.
Fever, was like 35 million. Right?
True. It was 70 million on the dot, maybe.
70 million a dot?
Piece of shit.
Did I say
Oh,
70
okay.
million?
Yeah, you did.
Fuck, dude. Yeah,
No, you made yourself look less cool though by going. Did I say 70 million?
Yeah, because I decided to remember what I said. I've been drinking, Sean. Leave me alone.
Critic score on Rotten Tomatoes 92%, which is almost unheard of for a horror movie that was made before or any horror movie made after like 1980. I mean, it's damn near impossible to get a horror movie score.
Was that higher than? Oh no, Psycho's probably higher, right? Was that the second highest?
Psycho should be right around there, I think.
Well, the thing about that movie is like it takes everything about horror and it puts it in one. Like there's It, there's Hellraiser, there's fucking there's like ghosts in it. Like there's
it takes everything and puts
it in one.
The audience score was only 74%, but that's to be expected. I mean, for horror, it's always going to have different things. But I read through some of the.
There's strangers. There's a lot of strangers references.
Right. Yeah. But the critic score, I actually read through. I figured 92%. It'd be pretty easy to read through the bad score, so I did. And the only ones coming from like legitimate sources, because anybody, as long as you have a blog or whatever, you're considered to be an official critic.
Yeah.
But they put the top critics at the beginning, so you can see everybody who's actually like accredited. And the only ones who didn't like it, there was like a mix. It would be like LA Times said this, and it'd be like the Sun Times said something different. The only people there, the main critique was if you're going to satirize while also like do it, like the movie needs to be able to stand on its own. And it doesn't do that, is what it was their critique. They were saying that it was like too inside baseball or something, but it's not true.
That's not true.
Because by 2012, if you don't know horror tropes, then that movie's just not for you, and you're not going to like it anyway.
There's enough horror tropes that it's like no matter what angle of horror you started at horror, it's going to hit with you.
Well, this is the same thing that Scream they had an issue with, where people were like trying to say that Scream was too inside baseball, which is nuts to say after the 80s.
Which is now like a cultural fucking icon. Scream is a cultural icon.
Scream came out right after Uncle Sam, and it's not a mistake. Scream was the end of the slasher. Scream said, it's been done to death. This is now a satirical inside baseball take on it because everybody's inside baseball now. In terms of like horror in the world, everybody plays baseball. You know what I mean? Like, there's no more inside baseball. We're all in on the game for the most part.
Yeah, we all get it.
And if you're not, it's pretty easy to pick up pretty quickly because they're feeding it to you. Here's the rules.
I was about to say, with like both, because Scream is actually one of the only horror movies I've seen before this podcast.
It's a perfect one to see.
And it was one of my first horror movies as a kid. Not my first, maybe. I feel like maybe first.
But early.
But it was basically on. But like I understood and I still really enjoyed it.
Exactly.
And this movie, I feel like, maybe like it wouldn't hit as hard if I'm not like super engrossed in it, but it still does hit.
Extension,
right?
Yeah.
So I've never seen Scream.
Wow.
But I've seen
surprising.
Scary Movie. So I feel like it's the same thing.
No.
You've never seen Scream?
That's so crazy.
I've never seen Scream.
What the fuck is going on?
I know
right now?
I know snippets of Scream.
This is bizarro.
Scream's the next episode. There's nothing. We're not getting around it. I don't care.
Oh, Jesus
Fuck
Christ.
summer.
Okay. Yeah, I've never seen
I don't give a shit about themes anymore.
I'm down.
Okay.
Hell
shit.
yeah.
I wish I'd known that. We would have done Cabin in the Woods and Scream because it's done the two. All right.
That's so crazy.
All right.
Yeah.
Real quick, we're gonna do some fun facts and we'll get out of here. So
it's hard to watch. I've tried to watch Scream though. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've tried to watch Scream. It's hard to watch because I've watched Scary Movie. So I'm like, I know
Scary Movie's
scene.
dog
Dude,
shit compared
it's
to
different.
Scream.
It's different.
Okay. Sure.
All right. Jesus Christ. Okay, we're gonna do some fun facts. We're gonna stop all this.
Yeah.
So originally, the part for
I feel like everyone's gonna hate me for not watching Scream.
Yeah, they are.
Thank you for waiting.
Yeah,
I know
they're
people are
gonna
gonna hate me for not watching Scream. I feel like people are gonna call me a not
Zach already
real
hates you for
horror
interrupting.
fan.
Correct.
And like I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I came into horror through haunted houses and fucking scare acting.
So it makes sense.
It's just a different way to get to horror.
Well, also, what year were you born?
91.
91. So when Scream came out, it wouldn't have been a pivotal thing. Like for me,
My mom didn't let me watch it.
as she shouldn't. You were 5.
Yeah, exactly.
But 5 or 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw it when it came out when I was like 11 or 12, and that's the perfect time to see a horror movie. It's
Oh, absolutely.
it really fucks your brain up, and that's what should be happening.
Yeah.
All right, fun facts.
Bam.
We're going to start out with Bruce Campbell was the initial choice for Sigourney Weaver's character because there's so many Evil Dead references. I mean,
oh yeah, dude, that would have been great. Though too.
It was as if someone just said Evil Dead themed.
Yeah,
the NSA makes the Evil Dead happen to these teenagers because that's what happened.
I wish we had more time for like Cabin in the Woods because I feel like we did spend a lot of time on
for sure.
Cabin Fever.
Yeah.
But we're also eventually going to do Evil Dead at some point.
Yeah, and then we can touch back on that.
We'll talk back on like the Evil Dead references, but like even like the scene where the hand is like grabbing the face of like the guy, it's like so many fucking Evil Dead references.
Yeah. And then they also work in the middle of the Evil Dead reference of being in the basement and finding the pseudo Necronomicon, right?
Yeah.
There's the little ball, like the Hellraiser box, right?
Yeah.
Turning that. There's the necklace that's cursed that the girl starts to put on, the film that she's looking through. Mm-hmm. So everybody's doing different things. Those are all, Sean might not know this because you haven't seen all these movies, but these are all, when they're in the basement, all doing different things, playing with different trinkets. Those are all from different horror tropes.
Yeah.
So they're different ways that you basically like bring on the evil thing that's about to happen.
I didn't know from what, but I kind of gathered that just because of like the timing of everything.
They also did say it at some point. She was just like, "Oh, they made us choose how we were going to die."
Right.
Yeah.
So Bruce Campbell was the first choice.
Why not? Why didn't he do it?
I couldn't find anything definitive on that. Somebody just said he wasn't available. I mean, who knows for sure? I mean, that might have just been like someone's idea. I mean, you never even know if that actually happened. Another one was Jamie Lee Curtis.
Bruce Campbell's hard to get. He's hard to get.
Why are you saying that?
If
What are you,
you
his fucking
ask
agent?
for Bruce Campbell to be at your proposal, Bruce Campbell is hard to get.
Okay.
Not to say I wouldn't try, but Bruce Campbell is hard to get. Sorry, okay, we can move on.
Thing. Jamie Lee Curtis.
Was that? What the?
Jamie Lee Curtis was also considered for that. But
Jamie Lee Curtis is hard to get.
I'll be honest with you.
I feel like she's a little bit easier.
Okay.
I feel like I could get Jamie Lee Curtis.
Well,
You're like, no, that's ruined my disbelief.
not in 2009 when they were shooting that, because she had done after she did H2O, she was like kind of not like in a mean way or anything, but she was kind of like, okay, I'm focusing on other stuff career wise right now. I've like built my career on horror, but that's not all I want to be. And she had, it's in her lineage, but it's just like her mom after Psycho. She wanted to make sure that she didn't get pigeonholed into like being a screen queen.
When did she start making those yogurt commercials?
I don't know, Sean. That's a really good question.
Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yeah, I'd love
She made a lot of like yogurt commercials.
Yeah, I think that.
I feel like I kind of remember this a little bit.
Active,
I feel like it just broke an unlocked memory in my head. Like what?
All right, last couple of things. Cellar door is a Donnie Darko reference. When the cellar door opens and then somebody goes cellar door, they didn't say the cellar door just opened. They said cellar door. And Donnie Darko said that cellar door. They talk about where the cellar door is. A linguist said that it was the most beautiful phrase in the English language.
That's
cellar
fucking
door.
dumb.
Like, yeah, I think it's fucking dumb, but
Cellar
someone
door.
said it. They put it in a movie, so they referenced it.
Yeah, it's not the most beautiful word in English language.
Not at all.
No one has ever said cellar door and made me come. So
Yeah, you ever listen to
So,
Two
not
Live
that
Crew?
beautiful,
Pop
dude.
that pussy, pop
that pussy.
Okay.
Wait, so what is the most beautiful phrase in the English
Cellar
language?
Probably
door.
pop that pussy.
Oh, they're gonna say "don't come" because that makes you come.
All right.
No. I'd pop that pussy is pretty good though. I think that
Wouldn't
might be
make
a
you
beautiful.
All right. Last two things.
I don't know. Two Live Crew did say it. So
That's true.
So Goddard, the director, I said Gordon, but it's
Who's angry?
Goddard, I think.
Whatever.
yeah.
I've been saying Drew Gordon this whole time, and it's fucking Goddard. Whatever.
Oh
you
my-
guys don't-
Oh my god.
You people don't give a shit.
Let's
No.
just turn
Hey,
all
go-
the cameras
hey.
off. Let's delete all the footage.
Why don't you go find
Zach
just the
just
facts and
fucked up
correct it
so
some more?
hard.
All right. So
So
Drew
hard.
Gooden, so
Oh
he's
my
not the
God.
basketball player.
all right. So
No, he's not.
so the writer director grew up in Los Alamos.
Case closed. They're
Yeah,
two different people.
No doors are open.
They're
now.
definitely two different people. They don't
different
have the same name.
Yeah. I think Sean has gotten what he wanted out of this podcast.
I fucking
I'm gonna
cracked
kill
the
myself
code.
on this fucking. I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna kill myself on this podcast, and you're
Yeah.
gonna fucking leave it in for
I
the
feel
numbers.
like this is like
You
the best this podcast has ever been. To be honest,
Okay, great.
I'm gonna
I
look
think-
at his
I
dead
think-
body.
Well, that
Hang
that
on.
I
one.
think,
be like,
you,
I
I
think-
think you talking and us derailing you has been the essence of this podcast.
Yeah.
All right, get through it. Get through it.
The writer director grew up in Los Alamos, New Mexico.
Yeah.
Los Alamos, New Mexico. I don't know if you've seen the movie about the bomb.
What bomb?
Which one?
So Barbie and Oppenheimer both came out at the same time.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Oppenheimer, most of that movie takes place
in Los Alamos.
Los Alamos, yeah.
Where underground they basically cook up the end of the world. Right?
Yeah.
So a lot of his influence of this idea that like all these monsters are kept underground that could end everything comes from his upbringing, where literally like in the town he lived in, it was like, yeah, everything could end right here if it's like the wrong thing happened.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Right? Well, you know.
You keep saying,
Barbie
yeah, like he
was
got
really
a little...
dark.
I knew it. Every time you start saying yeah, because he's waiting for his chance to
I'm
fucking
working
double
on a
dutch
bit
in.
as I'm
Such
saying
a
it.
fucking piece of shit. All right. Okay. I just thought that was an interesting fact, but thanks for getting your...
No, and it was.
It was.
Yeah.
The
That was
very
good.
last
Was it
thing.
correct? Was it true, though?
Fuck you.
Or are you just fucking lying to
We're
us
about
again?
the editors.
The
We can
very
cut the parts
last
that we
thing.
like.
The very last thing.
Go ahead.
The thermos.
Which thermos?
That was a bong.
Oh,
That was
yeah, I
cool.
love that one.
That's
Yeah.
real.
The thermos bong? Yeah, that's a real thing.
But the one in
Would
the
you
movie,
invent it?
Yeah, did
No-
you think that they made it for the movie?
it was a prototype that they got for the movie. But at the time, it wasn't like people didn't have this kind of stuff back then.
Okay, they don't have it that much either. Ray
It was
needs to calm
5,000
down.
Yeah.
No, that's what I was like.
Yeah, fuck you, Ray.
No, I was like,
Okay, when I
That's why I said, did you invent it? Because you was like, yeah, you didn't know about that? No, fucking. It
no,
was
no,
a-
no,
it
no,
was
no,
a
no,
bong
I
that
was
turned
definitely
into a
smoking
cup.
weed at that year too.
Yeah.
Like when I had seen it.
Yeah.
Like, and I definitely was just like, oh shit, sick. They put it in the movie because I had seen it before
Dude,
already.
that would be so
That's
annoying.
wild.
If I heard you say that,
Well, it was
I would have been
$5,000.
so annoyed.
It was a $5,000 prop.
Yeah.
that I got for the movie.
Oh shit, they put that in the movie?
I was just such a stoner.
Yeah, I know.
Dude.
I know
was
that
just
thing.
Such a stoner.
Yeah, I
dude.
smoke. Oh shit, they put that thing in the movie, bro?
Bro, I hit one of the first vapes when it was like like you had to plug it in.
Yeah, but back when it had like a big back to it, like it was like one of those TVs where it's like the vape was just a big box attached to it.
I don't know about a box.
Vapes,
It was like
vapes
a
that weigh
bag.
35
It
pounds.
was like yeah. I kind of yeah. So
I
it
just
was like
made that up.
like,
That was not real, was it?
No. It didn't. Well, I mean, it might have weighed like maybe 20 pounds. It was like kind of this
Jesus
big
Christ.
machine, and then it would fill up like a bag of smoke. But then like there was like a little part of it where it would like kind of suck all the THC out. Go ahead. Sorry.
And suck
Zach,
all the-
Zach hates when we derail the podcast.
Yeah,
too
It's
no,
much.
the end. So I don't think we can end the podcast without talking about drugs.
Drugs.
Honestly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's
but
like
what's
the
the
move.
best part that, like you know, like to do it on? Like we can't talk about drugs in the beginning. We're gonna get demonetized.
It's a great point.
We talk about drugs at the end.
Yeah.
Also, love the shirt. They live, they laugh, they love.
That's a good
You
shirt.
can get it on the Patreon.
Hey. So,
That's a good shirt.
It's a good shirt.
Sean, it was your first time seeing these movies.
Yeah. Talk to me.
You seem like you enjoyed it though. You had a good time.
I did. I know I was being a little harsh on the first one, especially Cabin Fever.
Yeah. Did you really like Cabin in the Woods? Were you enjoying that a lot?
That one was definitely better. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really liked it. I liked the comedy was hidden. For
The
sure.
comedy was definitely hitting. Yeah. When dude gets killed by the merman.
Yeah. There was also just more. Oh, that was so satisfying because he wanted the merman the whole time, and then
Yeah.
the merman kills him. It was so
And then he
poetic.
acknowledges
he's
it.
like,
You got to be
"Come
fucking
on."
kidding me. Yeah.
No,
So
but it
good.
was like, and it got going really quick too. I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit! There's already like 2 people dead, and it was like, I feel like the movie just started.
Right.
Yeah.
It was good pacing.
Yeah. It takes him almost
was
40.
really good pacing.
Yeah, it takes
Yeah.
him almost 45 minutes to get to a kill, which puts it on par with Psycho. I mean, most.
Oh, Cabin Fever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or no,
yeah.
Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods.
Wait,
Yeah.
wait, does it really?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like that at all.
And honestly,
Yeah.
Cabin Fever takes a while too for
Cabin Fever felt so much longer,
Right.
but not in a good way
Well,
in
I
terms
feel
of
like
waiting
the
for the
first
kill.
kill is like the most it's kind of most important, like, you know,
First kill is the deepest.
kind of setting it up and
Yeah.
setting up the story and where we're going.
Well,
I think first kill is the most important.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
First and last is very important. How you
First and last are very important. Yeah. Everything in between, get creative, have fun.
Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Our producer Turner is napping.
Sorry, I got hungry at the end. I was eating ice cream.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys might hear it, or you might not. I don't know. I'll find out when I listen back.
We'll let Ray handle it.
Yeah.
Well, on behalf of myself, Sean Dolan,
Hey.
sponsored by some ice cream company that we can't name.
Okay, yeah. I'll give you a hint.
Why can't we name it? It's Ben and Jerry's.
No, Jen and
Who's gonna stop
Jen
us?
and Berries.
Well, I
Jen
did
and
Who's
say-
gonna stop us? They're gonna come to our house. I'm all fist fight Ben and Jerry representatives right now. I don't give a shit. I'm a little drunk.
And a very drunk Ray Reyes.
I wasn't drunk when this first started.
No,
I'll be
Ben and
honest.
Jerry lovers, or how does that work again? Were they?
Wow.
Were Ben and Jerry lovers?
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
As in, like, they were gay lovers?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know.
We'll see you next week. Thank you guys so much for hanging out.
I thought I heard
Yeah.
that.
If you haven't, check out all our other episodes already out. Check out our Patreon and, like, follow, share, subscribe, all that shit. And if you don't, then hey, why
Go
do you
fuck
stick around?
yourself.
Yeah, why do
Yeah.
you stick around this long?
Yeah.
You fucking weirdo.
Stop listening to us. Stop hate
Yeah.
listening to us. You know what? Hate listen to us.
And also
bitch.
send me an email.
Yeah.
Are Ben
Yeah.
and Jerry lovers? Because I really don't know. I thought I heard that. I thought I heard that somewhere.
All right, guys. See you next week.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Man getting bit by an alligator in the street.
Swallow this.